This question has been asked for years now amongst the One Punch Man community, and that question is, what is the true secret behind Saitama's power? Now, this video will contain webcomic spoilers, but I will put up a spoiler alert when I have to cut to the webcomic spoilers. Saitama has by far been the strongest character we have encountered in the series so far, and yes, of course, it feeds into the comedic aspects of the series, but this power has pretty much been guaranteed to have an origin due to the knowledge we have acquired of the One Punch Man world in general. And we now know that the One Punch Man world started experiencing the terror of monsters after the world wars, and that then changed the Earth's atmosphere, its structure, its ecosystem, pretty much everything, and this in turn gave birth to monsters. And these monsters had abnormal abilities and powers that people were not familiar with at all. And we also know that humans can turn into monsters through their desires and a crazy cellular reaction that then results in them turning into monsters. And this concept actually reminds me of a series I've been reading called Sweet Home, when people turn into monsters in accordance to their deepest and darkest desires. But anyway, back on topic, we can pretty much establish that Saitama is not a mysterious being or a monster, because he is a human and is more similar to the heroes, who are people that were also affected by the earth changing, and they are the people that were born with latent abilities and potential that go beyond the regular human. Examples of that are Darkshine, Watchdog Man, Tatsumaki, Pig God, etc. And in Tatsumaki's case, the earth changing creates, different races like espers. So this must be the same with Saitama. He must be a regular, human being that was affected by the earth changing. And that then gave birth to Saitama's power, which I guess is super strength or a broken limiter, but Saitama's power goes a lot deeper than this. And before we get into webcomic spoilers, I just want to quickly go over what exactly a limiter is in One Punch Man, and I have actually explained what a limiter is in a video in the past, so check that video out if you haven't already. But just to summarize what a limiter is a theoretical barrier that restricts the physical growth of a being. Dr. Genus first coined the term to explain how Saitama obtained his strength. According to his theory, God placed a growth limitation on every being to prevent them from losing purpose. No matter how much someone grows, they will eventually hit this upper limit where there is no more potential to develop further. However, it is possible for an individual to remove their limiter, which results in the development of immeasurable strength. Now, recently we have been revealed to who God is, or what God is, and from what Dr. Genus said, God places a limiter on everyone, which means obviously Saitama removed his limiter, which means that Saitama is now going on to the level of God, or even beyond that level. And we will now be going into webcomic spoilers, so we will be going into things that just haven't happened in the manga. So for manga only, you can skip to the time frame that will show up in the screen right now. So in the webcomic, we know and we have established that God is able to give people powers, and an example of this is Homeless Emperor. Homeless Emperor was already someone who was quite close to Earth in general and wanted to basically die, which would give back to the Earth, but God showed up in front of Homeless Emperor and gave him dragon level powers, and he essentially just told Homeless Emperor that he should know what to do with these powers. Now, from this alone, we can theorize that God is able to give anybody powers, and God, by the religious definition, is the creator and ruler of the universe and source of all moral authority. And the second definition is a superhuman being or spirit worshipped as having power over nature or human fortunes, a deity basically. Now, from these definitions, we can assume that the God in One Punch Man has control over the universe, nature, and just pretty much everything in general. And from this, we can also assume that God is also the one that in a way gave birth to these monsters and supreme beings or mysterious beings. And I also feel like God gave Saitama these powers through the change of the earth and the earth's ecosystem and atmosphere due to the two major eras according to the history section of the earth on the One Punch Man wiki. And I feel like it's quite necessary to go over what exactly these two eras are, so I'll just quickly summarize what these are. Now, According to the wiki, the reason why the Earth is so radically different from its, real world counterpart, that it underwent two major eras of change. Long ago, there were several nations that fought countless wars for land and resources. These constant wars decreased the human population significantly. So the nations of the world united to form a world government and unified the languages. This was known as the first era of change. However, the fallback from the previous wars caused several problems, such as increased, environmental toxicity, rapid climate change, a rise in sea level, and the birth of various new life forms. The changes made most of the planet uninhabitable, forcing humanity to migrate to, the supercontinent. This was known as the second era of change. But anyway, now that we've established what these two eras are, since God controls the universe and all the planets, it's safe to assume that God is responsible for every monster, mysterious being, and even heroes that have these powers and abilities right now on Earth. And I also feel like God placed a limiter on everyone as a way to always be in control of the life forms that he in a way gave life to or gave powers to. And now that Saitama has broken his limiter, he is now in a way out of God's control and is an anomaly amongst God's creations or people that God has given powers to. And there's actually a sketch of Saitama standing on a spherical ball that looks similar to the Earth but has the texture that is on God, which could mean that Saitama's power is even beyond God, which, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised about. And overall, I do believe that Saitama's power was given to him in the exact same way the heroes get their powers, but he managed to go beyond his limitations, or in this case, the limiter, and achieve power beyond this, and is on a completely different level from anything on Earth and even possibly anything in the universe, including God. And this is further backed up by the sketch again by Murata of Saitama standing on God, which hints to the notion that he's beyond God and is more powerful than God. And if Saitama is stronger than God, then it must mean that he is the strongest in the universe or is universal in the realm of One Punch Man, since God, according to the religious definition, is in control of the universe, and if Saitama is stronger than God, then he must be universal level in the One Punch Man verse. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you like the video, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on and set to all, and tell me some of your theories about Saitama's power, God, and everything to do with, that and One Punch Man in general. And apart from that, I will see you in my next video.